Hello, this is Ola, your host on The Unpolished Mum, your weekly podcast on all things parenthood, languages and real life struggles. I'm really honoured you've decided to listen to me today, so let's begin. Hello guys and welcome to The Unpolished Mum. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you liked the previous episode, which was a little bit private and personal, and it made me cry, to be honest. But today it's going to be much more positive because I've got a fantastic guest with me here. Here is Gillian. Gillian is a mum who lives in London with her partner and her 18-month-old daughter, Campbell. She's originally from the States, but has been living in the UK for 6 years. She loves traveling and she's very excited when we can start doing so again, so her daughter can experience traveling too. And her main goal is mothering to raise a daughter who is happy, confident, and loves experiencing new things. Hi, Gillian.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for saying yes to this. I'm really looking forward to our chat. So me and Gillian met through her husband, basically. I used to work with Gillian's husband, Ben. But ever since she's become a mom, we've got something in common. So we've decided to have this chat. And what we wanted to kind of maybe not focus on, but explore a little bit more is how we mother away from home, because that's what Gillian is doing. Lovely. So let's start with some of the questions. So Gillian, how do you find motherhood in general?
I love it. I always wanted to have kids. I also think I waited to the right time in my life to do it, and I've gotten really lucky with this first child of mine. She's very chilled out, go with the flow kind of baby, and I think she makes it an easy thing to love. I mean, she still is obviously an 18-month-old, and you have your moments and you miss your sleep and things like that. But I love it so much.
Oh, that's amazing. I feel a bit jealous because mine hasn't been so easy, but yeah, amazing. Great stuff.
I'm sure my next one, if I have another one, won't be this easy.
That's what people say, but I hope not. Yeah. I love, I talk a lot about the nasty sides of motherhood because I do experience a lot of them, but I love sharing positivity as well. You know, motherhood definitely can be a lovely, positive, fantastic journey and something that you've always dreamt of.
Yeah, no, I've been very lucky. And also, obviously, I've been at home for basically since she was born, and my husband's also working from home. So that also makes things a bit easier, gives me freedom in some ways.
So does it mean that the pandemic and the whole lockdown situation, do you see it as a blessing of some sort?
For us, yes. I mean, obviously it was a horrible year, so tragic for so many people. But I do think for us as a family, aside from not being able to see anyone else in our family, it has been personally a really great year for us. You know, Ben saw more of Campbell than he ever was going to be able to see. I was able to go back to work last fall for a few months, and we were able to share parenthood. Also things like when she wants to, or she has her nap, I can meet up with a friend in there and go on a socially distant walk because my husband's here and I'm not housebound to do those things. And it just gives you a bit of cover. But I mean, really just getting all that time to spend together as a family. When she was so young, it was definitely good for us.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I like seeing, obviously, again, as you said, so many horrible things have happened, but I'm glad that in a way, the pandemic or the lockdown has brought some families together or has allowed them to spend this time together. And it's quite precious, probably building memories for the future. Great stuff. All right. So you're originally from the States. Where exactly in the States are you from? Remind me.
I'm from Kentucky.
Fantastic. Lovely. And so do you think there is some sort of a stereotypical vision of a mother in America? Something that maybe we know from films, from movies, or do you think that exists?
Not necessarily. America is so big with so many different regions. There's probably stereotypes for each region. I guess one stereotype would be like soccer mom that you see in movies. I mean, that is just definitely real. You definitely see soccer moms. And like where I'm from, soccer moms to be really like probably also really religious, very like evangelical Christian would be a stereotype, because I grew up in the Bible Belt, and then there'll be different iterations of that soccer mom, you know, across the United States. But the soccer mom is for sure like big car, piling all the kids in, going to whatever sports practice. That's
exactly.
Definitely.
That's
true.
When I imagine, have you ever watched Modern Family?
Yes.
Yeah. If I think of Claire from Modern Family, is she a bit of a stereotype?
Kind of, but not really, because she's so goofy and funny and stuff. So she like doesn't take her kids so seriously.
She does.
But I'm from people take their kids. This sounds bad. People tend, I think, from my memory, take their kids like so seriously, and it's very, you know, their kids would never do anything wrong, and their kids are number one at everything. And
I see. Okay.
So
okay. Yeah,
but it's quite intense.
I'm only asking because I'm trying to kind of imagine that, because for me it's quite of a foreign concept as well. But anyway, do you think your mom was kind of a stereotype, or do you think she was just your mom, individual mom?
Yeah, no, I don't think she was that stereotype really at all, especially in that, like, especially not like in the area where I'm from. She was very involved in our lives, very encouraging. She was also like very strict compared to most moms, and also my family was not evangelical Christian, which kind of changed that aspect, in my opinion, for the better. But I'm sure that, like, I think other people found that really weird. But my family wasn't originally from the area that I grew up. They moved there for my dad's job. So.
Okay. And when you say strict, that kind of got my attention. What do you mean by that? What do you understand by strict?
There were high expectations for grades. Definitely. My dad's motto is A's are expected, B's are accepted, C's are not.
Wow.
And so it's a high pressure to like perform really well academically on all of us. Also things like, I don't think that my mom or really either of my parents were very good in kind of accepting like the teenagers will be teenagers. I never got caught, but I did sneak around to do it. Like go drink with my friends sometimes or something like that. And the world would have ended. And you know, my brother got caught once and he was just grounded for months on end. Things, and especially in our small, tiny town, I mean, there's literally nothing for anybody else to do. There's no movie theater. There's no shopping mall. There was nothing. So that was just kind of what teenagers in small towns did. And I think that none of that would have been accepted, which I thought.
Wow.
And I still think, even now, having a kid is silly. Not that I think my mom should have just like let me go out and get drunk every night, but I'm just saying that was one thing where I don't feel, I just think that we were expected to behave all the time, especially like didn't want to make our parents look bad. I think.
Oh, I totally get what you mean. And when you were saying those things about high academic expectation, that's something that we definitely then have in common, because that's how I was raised as well. High academic expectations when I was especially expected to be very good at maths for some stupid reason, and I was never good at maths. And once when I got an equivalent of a, say, C, but we had a bit of a different system, it was a disaster and absolute mayhem at home.
It was the same for me. And every time I made really, really good grades, and I made good grades usually pretty easily, except for math. And then when I got older, like the harder sciences, chemistry and physics and things like that, I struggled with them, but I was never that great at math, and I would make C's. And like my parents' reaction was just, you're grounded until the next report card comes out. And I'm like, but this is the only class I'm doing badly, and I'm having A's in almost everything else. And, you know, having a C in physics occasionally or C in one of my math classes, is it that productive to just say you're grounded? It's not helpful. It's not making me learn math.
Exactly. I felt the same, as if I'm not sure, but I felt like the older generations, that they used to think that if they don't tell us to study and be academically successful, go and do a degree, then that we would just, fail at life. They just associated success with academic success, right? I don't know if that's your experience, but
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like you could never be like good enough or successful if you didn't have good grades or if you hadn't gone to university. That's at least lots of people felt like that in Poland, especially in my generation.
No, yeah, I think it was definitely the same. That was your only option. It's to do really well, and if you didn't do really well, you're probably, and if you didn't do really well academically, you're just going to end up living on the streets or something.
Exactly, yes. I was always threatened with, you're going to end up as a cleaner. So what? But yeah, that used to be. But I wonder where that comes from. Like, is that their own fears, their own sort of...
My parents are both raised, especially my mom, raised in families where it was... academics were paramount. Doing well in academics were paramount, especially my mom. But she had a father who was, my grandpa was just a genius in many ways. And so he probably wouldn't understand other struggles that some people might have. He worked incredibly hard to get to where he did, but, he was just very academically gifted naturally. So I think things are a bit easier for him.
Interesting. It's just, people just saw success differently. People saw another person's worth differently, I feel.
But I guess during that time, it was, there was so much upward mobility amongst people, and that was going to college and developing these skills was what was creating that upward mobility. But now so many people have a college degree, things like, so what is it worth? What is it going to get you?
Exactly.
It's worth getting. I would encourage my kids to go to college if they want, but it just doesn't have the same value as it had for our grandparents and parents' generation.
At all. Indeed, exactly. Interesting how much we've got in common coming from such different backgrounds. But yeah, and cultures. But anyways, obviously your family